So during retreat, I had the marvelous opportunity to see the self-centered thought in action, day in, day out, hour by hour, minute by minute. I don't know if that was your experience, but that's when I really get to see it clearly. And so I can easily get discouraged and disheartened that this has been going on since beginningless time, and there's actually nothing to be done about it, really. Just have to live with it. But that's the discouraged, lazy mind kicking in. And so actually, there's really good news. There's lots to do about this. And the one place I do turn to often are the 8 verses of thought transformation. And in particular, this passage written by Venerable Thupten Chodron. So this is the book. You must have this in your library if you're sick of the self-centered thought tormenting you day in and day out. And I'd like to share this marvelous passage. Verse 2 in particular is the one that really nails this. And it's probably the most easily misunderstood verse. If we just read it and we didn't have a teacher and we didn't hear teachings on it, we'd go in a completely wrong direction with this one. So the verse is, whenever I'm with others, I will practice seeing myself as the lowest of all. And from the very depth of my heart, I will respectfully hold others as supreme. So Venerable Chodron teaches here that it's important to understand this verse properly. It's not a prescription for low self-esteem. Holding ourselves as the lowest of all doesn't mean we hate ourselves or think we're worthless. It doesn't mean we don't respect ourselves. It simply means we stop making a big deal out of ourselves or insisting that everything center on what we want. So generally, when we're with others, and this is a very difficult sentence to read, who do we care about the most? Me. I want all the nice things to happen to me. I want to be first in line. I want the most food. I want to be appreciated. I work so hard. And the least that sentient beings can do is thank me for everything I do for them. I want to be acknowledged for my talents, my deeds, and achievements. I want to be right. I want people to know how accomplished I am. I want people to love me and approve of me. I want others to listen to me and follow my instructions, right? Not here. Our thoughts center on me, me, me. According to ego, self-grasping ignorance, I and me are the center of the universe. When we feel I am the lowest of all, suddenly there is some space. When we pop the bubble of I, there's space to see beauty, space to feel connected with others, space to be satisfied. That is just so incredible to think about this, you know? Because all day long we're probably screaming in our mind, I need some space, leave me alone. Here's how to do it. But when we're preoccupied with me, we become overly sensitive and react to everything and everyone. Somebody looks at us, and instead of being able to greet them with a smile, we wonder, what does his or her look mean? Does she think she's better than me? Does she respect me? Does he appreciate me? Does he love me enough? Does he realize who I am? They don't like me. They don't like men, they don't like women, they don't like Americans, they don't like Canadians for sure. They don't like vegetarians, they're jealous of people who are successful, rah, 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 rah. So we project on people all sorts of negative qualities and then hate them for being what we've projected. Self-defeating, isn't it? People may care for us or respect us, but we can't see it through the screen of our own projections. So there's more here. I'm just going to keep reading because it's just so good. And it helps me every time I read it. So this is for my sake and yours. When we see ourselves as the lowest of all, we drop this self-preoccupation. We open our eyes and realize that the universe is populated with other living beings, and from the depths of our hearts, we respectfully hold them as supreme. We cherish them instead of thinking, here I am. Everyone should learn from me. Everyone should do things my way because my way is the best. They should follow my instructions because I have the best idea. It just means dropping all of that self-centeredness. When we drop that, our minds are so much more peaceful. When we stop interacting with everyone in terms of where do I stand in relationship to you and what do you think of me, we will be able to connect with them. And that's what we long for, isn't it? None of us likes remaining isolated in our own self-created hell. So, just thinking about this and thinking about yesterday being, Earth Day, which when I was teaching school was one of my favorite days of the year. In fact, the lead up to Earth Day in school was like many weeks, and, sometimes months. But it was just a chance to see kids get all about saving the planet, and kids are totally into that. And then I was often teaching kids who had lots of problems, and just to see the kids get excited about this and to totally lose themselves in recycling, or totally lose themselves in taking the garbage to the recycling place in the school. And not for a second, and these were usually the kids that had the most trouble, the kids who wanted to do those jobs because they could see that they were successful. They saw that they were, benefiting the school and benefiting the planet most of all. And not for a second were those kids thinking, look what I'm doing. I'm doing something special, so look at me. It was just total engagement with this task, washing out the stinky milk containers, washing out the juice containers. And to see that kind of involvement, and just to know they were doing something that was helpful, was just so fantastic. And so we can see that in ourselves too, and others. When people are engaged in something outside of this self-centered preoccupation, first of all, we're experiencing peace in our mind, and we're giving everyone else a break too, not only ourselves. So if you're sort of getting miserable, and this is the source, this is a perfect antidote for any kind of mental suffering, just getting out of ourselves and focused on others in a beneficial way with some skill, of course, and just, giving ourselves some space and others. So, what a wonderful bit of news that there is a solution to the self-centered thought. It gets us off of the big old I, which I think, Venerable Chini, you should resurrect that song that you did a few years ago, and just rejoice in whatever opportunity we have to reach out to others.